Well, you're looking like casual, but like you look like Marty McFly, but like on a budget. You know what I mean?
My boss is calling me Marty McFly because of my electric skateboard.
Maybe you're not on a budget then. Maybe you're like just you're full-time Marty McFly.
Maybe I'm just full-time Marty McFly.
Once I get this up, we'll get started. But it's doing rings. Here we go. All right. Welcome to another episode of the Back Catalogue podcast.
Bro, you scared me there. I didn't realise you were.
This is the podcast where we, and by we I mean me, Apple, and my co-host / co-founder Vincent, we dive into the Disney Plus streaming service and we tell you, the listener and the viewer, what's worth it and what is not. And Vincent, we're here. We're here again. Post-work, like you're doing work things from home, but that's still work.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Sure. Joe, if you're watching, I was doing work from home, you know?
You're just doing straight up like Marty McFly things from home.
Absolutely.
I don't know if we're going to keep what I said at the start of the presentation in
Probably
the
not,
thing,
but that's okay.
It's a joke from earlier. But Vincent, we're here, man, and you know what? We can pretty much get right into this because I've already asked you how your day is and you said it was pretty good. So today we're diving back into the Marvel televisual universe, the MTU. That's what we're going to call it now.
The what?
Marvel.
The televisual. Yeah, okay.
Televisual universe, MTU.
Televisual universe.
So we're jumping into 2021's very own Loki, the TV series.
Loki, the TV series. We're doing the first episode.
We're doing the first episode
this week, and then for subsequent episodes, we'll be doing them midweek, and then we'll do our usual movie. We just got to hit the algorithm right where it hurts, you know?
Right
where it hurts, you know? 6 days after the show comes out.
Hey, it's only 3 days, 2 days. It came out on Wednesday.
Yeah, but this is not going to be released until Monday.
Oh, that's true.
Yeah.
Well, hopefully the algorithm is listening now and understand that we've done it early.
Yeah, maybe I'll just upload it to YouTube and just not have it public so the algorithm can get ready. So it knows. It goes, all right, these guys have put the work in.
It's just waiting. It's like, when you're ready, boys, like, I'll take you to the top. Don't worry about it.
Recommended.
Speaking of getting taken to the top, we've got some stuff. We've got some business news that we're going to talk about in the After Dark podcast.
Business news?
Yeah, well, you know, from the email that you received.
Oh, okay.
We're going to get into depth into that.
Yeah, okay.
All right.
Yeah, okay.
And also, shout out to Mick and Ori's podcast. You know, find them wherever you find your podcasts. Shout out to Marzi Media. Find them wherever you find your media. But specifically, I think they got stuff on Instagram, which Vincent will link in the show notes.
Hey, wherever you find media, just in general, Marzi are there.
So Vincent, I'm going to give you the synopsis. There's not much, I'm not going to do the IMDb's and the Rotten Tomatoes because this has just come out.
Just come out.
It's not, you know, as we did with the last ones, we didn't actually go through IMDb's and Rotten Tomatoes, but we won't do that till the last episode. But let me give you this. The mercurial villain, Loki, parentheses Tom Hiddleston, resumes his role as the god of mischief.
Bro, we talk mischief.
They don't want to give you too much. Now, Vincent, I see you're scrolling, so I'm assuming that there's Google questions.
There's Google questions. So I just looked up Loki, the TV show.
That's positive because that's what we did.
That's positive, yep.
Yeah.
And the first question is, are they making a Loki TV show?
Like Loki. Not low-key. Because initially I was like, now he's doing play on words. Like how they're doing like it's not, you know, it's not too exciting. It's just low-key. That's where I assumed that you just said that.
Do you want the answer or are you done?
I like the answer.
The answer is yes. They are doing a Loki TV show.
That's good because we got it.
We got it.
Yeah.
How old is Loki? Despite something. I started reading that and just read the first word and then just, I don't know where my eyes went. Apparently he's 1,054 years old when he died.
Bro, he doesn't look a day over 46.
Absolutely. Is Loki the youngest? Is he the youngest? No, there's younger.
But also just, that's hilarious in itself. But now that made me think about like, you know, youth and age and all that stuff. Not youth in Asia, but like youth and age. But it made me think about what would it be like to live for a whole 1,000 years? We only been here 25, 26 years. You know?
I've already done everything I need to do, you know?
What else is there to do?
I've completed a podcast.
Once Yumbo
A
gets
successful podcast. Once Yumbo gets to 1K, bro, that's it.
all the like tick, tick, tick goals are ticked off. We're done here. We've reached the peak.
Absolutely. How are we going to go past that? How are we going to live on after that, honestly?
I guess there's other peaks that you can do, like some that are maybe not as high, but they're still peaks of different mountains.
Yeah, we could do Mount Kosciuszko. That's pretty high.
It's pretty high. We could do Mount Lofty.
That's even pretty high as well.
That's pretty high. Yeah. That's less local references as well.
It's local reference. And put that on the gram, that'll get hits.
Yeah, well, I've always said, like, we should do, like, you know, a walk up Mount Lofty and just be, like, sweaty up the top, being like, we conquered the Lofty. And heads would be like, wow, how good of you to do this thing that, you know, tourists do in thongs.
And now people make fun of me more than they already do.
People make fun of us already, man.
All right, final question. Why is Loki so small? Loki was born a runt and his people threw him out to die. There you go. You heard it here first, folks. All right, let's get into this.
Mans isn't even that. Mans is like,
that's what I mean.
Size.
He's a fairly elongated individual.
He's elongated, especially. So, this is what I want us to do today, Vincent. We're going to get into, obviously, Loki, the TV series. We're going to give our review of this first episode, what we thought of it, what we like, what we didn't like. But I also want to get into some little nitpicks that I have. I want to get into who out of us is Owen Wilson and who is Tom Hiddleston, because I think there's comedy in that. And I want to get into our predictions of what we think will come next, because this is just the first episode, Vincent. There's a plethora of episodes to come.
Right, there's multiple episodes.
It's multiple episodes. But we'll get into that.
That's how TV shows do.
All right, so Vincent, let's start off with just, we should give a general synopsis of where this world is at. Spoilers. This is all spoilers, because we can't do anything without spoilers.
Everything is spoilers on this. If you've got to this episode and you watch all the other episodes, they're all spoilers. Just in case you didn't pick up on that. I don't know.
And it's not because...
You know, Mufasa dies. Spoiled.
That's true, man. That's hard-hitting spoiler. But it's not because we don't have the time to like think about a review that is, you know, without spoilers. It's just because we're not smart enough
That's
to do
right.
it without... Like,
we don't have the mental clarity.
No. Because we'll be saying something, I'll be like, and then he dies. And Vince will be like, we have to cut this out. But I don't have the capacity to do this.
I don't have time to edit.
So we'll give it a general synopsis. This is set in the middle of Avengers Endgame, essentially.
Yeah, so when they stuff up getting the Tesseract from New York in 2012, when Hulk smacks the absolute skin off Iron Man, which was hilarious.
Yeah.
Loki grabs a Tesseract and he gets transported somewhere.
He transports himself to Mongolia.
That's right. And for some reason, that's now caused a ripple in time of some sort.
Which leads him to this new, you know, unknown presence within the cinematic universe and the televisual universe, but probably not within the comics, but the time variance authorities. They come and they say, look, you've done ripples. We can't be doing ripples here. It's gonna, you know, multiverse is gonna explode. Bad things are gonna happen. We need to set things straight. So they take him prisoner.
Yeah, so what I understand about this time variance authority is there is only one timeline.
Yes.
And the time variance authority is meant to upkeep this one timeline, which, there's too many things to think about there. Well, you know, yeah. Loki did that. He escaped with the Tesseract, but then later in the episode they were saying, the Avengers were always supposed to get all the Infinity Stones and go into other timelines. How come they were allowed to go into timelines? Was that not part of the whole thing? Yeah. If Loki hadn't done that,
that's right,
they wouldn't have got it from the other spot. So would that...
I see what you're saying. You're saying that other people are doing making fragments in time.
Yeah.
Why are they allowed to do that?
As in, no, sorry, not that. So, yeah, they're making fragments. It's fine that saying, you know, what the Avengers did was meant to happen. It was part of the one timeline. But Loki escaping with the Tesseract, that was part of that timeline.
That's exactly right, yeah.
So why is he now getting cut off at the absolute ankles?
Yeah, no, I think the main reason for that is the same reason like Marvel does anything in regards to like their plots, is that like they just want to make stories here.
Yeah, and that's fine.
You know? Yeah,
that's absolutely fine.
But I do have nitpicks like that throughout. So don't
there's always going to be time nitpicks because time is, you know.
Yeah. The only movie that did it right is Back Catalogue. I mean, Back to the every time I say back, it's like ingrained. You know, anything that did it right is Back to the Future.
Only ones that did it right was the Back Catalogue podcast, where me. That's what I think. As soon as you say back, it just loops into.
I'm just like, no. The only people that did it right is that episode of The Simpsons where like Homer makes a time machine out of his toaster. Remember that one? He goes back to the dinosaurs and he's like, remembers the advice his dad gave him on his wedding night. He says, when you go back to prehistoric times, don't kill anything. That's the only advice he gave him on it. Anyway, so we'll get into this. But yeah, he is now being, you know, sent into a court of law at this time variance authority.
Just before, when I'm saying this time variance thing, maybe Loki escaping that, he was just, you know, unfortunately he was just a side effect of them, of the upkeeping the current timeline.
And also, I guess, because that wasn't part of their, whatever. Anyway.
Who knows?
That wasn't part of their plan. Whatever.
Leave it to other more experienced and smarter people to discuss that.
Or just like, just leave it. Just leave it, guys.
Just leave it.
It's done. Just leave it. So, Loki then, you know, he gets put onto trial and essentially it's, you're going to get like turned into dust or you're going to do this.
Yeah, I don't understand what the trial is for.
No.
Because they already know you're guilty. Is there any situation where you're not guilty? And if you're there, they're not going to just, well, I mean, I can just put you back, but I mean, you just say guilty. All right, you cease to exist.
Yeah,
cease. That's
was
it.
that going to be his thing? He's just going to cease to exist at that point. That's it.
Well, because there's the other Loki running around, you know?
Yeah. So at that point, Owen Wilson comes into it. He essentially says, hey, we can't kill Loki right now. We need him to figure out what's going on in this world because there's potentially another Loki out there. And that's really the story where we're up to at this point.
Which is exciting when we found that out.
Yes.
So Owen Wilson is, I don't even know what his name is. Mobius Strip. He's finding this guy that is killing the time people and he's gathering their little grenades that rip out the timeline or something.
Yeah.
So I'm not sure what's going on there, but that was wild when he was like, oh, it's you, Loki, you are the one that's doing this.
And I want to get into that when we talk about what's going to happen in the future of this series because there's some exciting things that I have thought and they are 100% correct. I don't care, even if the televisual series gets to the end and they're not correct, these ideas of mine are correct because I'm on a podcast. Right? You know, like I'm at the upper echelon of media.
You are.
You know what I mean?
Wherever you find media, we're there.
We're there. With Marzi. Marzi's next to us, you know? No, so I do want to get into a bit of a review here of what we thought of this first episode because when the episode started, let me tell you one thing. I was very, very excited because I've been I think out of all three shows, this is probably the most exciting for me.
I would say yes because the other ones, well, WandaVision was a bit of I wasn't really 100%, I'm keen for this. I was interested in it.
Yeah.
Falcon and the Winter Soldier, I was excited for it, but I also kind of knew what I was expecting.
Like just people punching people. That's
right. And, you know, Falcon becomes Captain America.
And it delivered.
And it absolutely delivered. And it exceeded my expectations.
Yeah.
You know, great show. Check out our reviews podcast, of that. Yeah. We do a whole bunch of stuff on that.
Just check out the fact that we love Anthony Mackie.
Oh, bro, Anthony Mackie's the best. Anyway.
Him and Dave Bautista, man. They're up there. Anyway, go on.
But yeah, this one here was the one where I was most excited for because I had no idea what was going on.
Yeah. And
absolutely no idea.
We do have a very short podcast where we did speculate on what could happen. And I think all of our speculations were correct and they will stand that test of time and be correct. But, you know,
and if they're not correct, and if we watch the video and they're not correct, we're going to delete the video. And what can you do? There's no evidence, bro.
There's no evidence. You better watch it. Better like film it on your phone, send it to your friends, you know. Whatever you do, man, just send it to your friends. But yeah, this was the one that I was most excited for. So when I got into the show, I'm a real sucker of doing this where I overhype myself and I get into something and then when things aren't good from the very get-go, I'm like, this is crap, bro. You know, this is horrible. And I need
You're sweating. Oh, how can they do this?
And I need to stop myself and be like, hold on. Just let this happen. But for me, one of the reasons why I was excited was Loki started becoming one of my favorite characters, from, really him in Ragnarok and him in the start of Avengers Infinity War. I'm like, that's like the best level of Loki that we can get.
And that's interesting you say that, because what I found the most interesting and almost one of the hardest things that they pulled off in this episode was they had a Loki from the start of the Marvel Cinematic Universe, and they had to get him to where the current Loki is in such a short amount of time, because we have all watched Loki grow as a character.
Bro, we're on the same wavelength.
Bro, we're on the same we're on the same wavelength here.
Yeah, it's
but
exciting.
they had to basically get him up to speed and make him the current Loki in, I don't know, 10, 20 minutes or something.
That's right. And it's funny because as this episode starts, Loki is at his most like, I'm king of Asgard business.
That's right.
And I was like, far out. Like this is not what I like remembered him being like. Like this is just Loki to another level. But then if you were to watch, the first Avengers and then watch this, you'd be like, oh, that's what Loki's like.
Yeah.
But then you're right. There's that, he gets that development in such a short time because he's shown his entire life and the biggest points in his life.
And Owen Wilson is there asking, do you enjoy killing people? Do you enjoy inflicting pain? And asking him all these, personal, emotional questions.
Yeah.
And him being a very, he knows what's going on. He's a smart man.
Yeah.
And he's, answering them, kind of avoiding them, but also giving a bit of insight into himself as a character and as a person. So, but for me, I get very into media. Shout out Marzi.
Yeah.
Very into it.
Everywhere.
And I fail to see flaws a lot of the time. So for me, that sequence didn't feel too quick. It didn't feel like they'd just thrown it together and quickly got him to this point. It felt like a smooth transition. Yeah. I want to know what you felt, how you felt that went.
As I was saying, the part that initially I was not enjoying him, like as he was walking through the time variance authority and he was just saying like, Midgard, like ain't got nothing on me, right? He was saying all that business. But then I think that him watching that video, that period of him watching the video of his life, but then him also going back to that space afterwards, that was enough for me to be like, okay, that's what they want to do. They wanted to set it up so that Loki gets all of his development in one go. But as you said, it's not just like his development.
Smack you in the face with some development.
It's showing that the Loki inside was not a bad person. Yeah, he was mischievous and he'd like put snakes in things. Like he does that, right?
He's mischievous, he pulled the eye socket out of some poor dude.
Yeah, but he was doing that.
He's going, bro, how mischievous is this? Oh, you cheeky little bastard, Loki.
But his reasoning for doing that was not because that was not his true personality. That was because he was blinded by power and blinded by what he assumed that he could achieve. And then, that's when, there's that bit where he sees himself getting killed by Thanos. He's like, hold on a second, because right now at that point, Thanos is his mate.
Was that before or after he found all the Infinity Stones in the confiscated, goods? So I remember that was a point where he looked at them and that's when he kind of, okay, excuse me, that he realized, okay, this is for real, this place. These are just straight up Infinity Stones.
I think that's when he had escaped from...
Yeah, so he'd escaped, but did he go back and watch... I can't remember. I watched this last night.
I watched this last night as well. I don't know if he went back after that and then watched the last little bit.
I feel like he did. I feel like he went... That's when he was trying to escape.
Yeah.
And then he went back because he knew this is... he can't escape this. Bro, I'm here.
And when he realized like these Infinity Stones do nothing here. Yeah. This is the greatest power on Earth. And it's funny because that is a part of his character. He realized that this is the greatest power in the universe. So he's like, well, maybe I'll stay.
Yeah. Because that's the other thing, because there are definitely, when he said that, he goes, this is the greatest power.
Yeah.
So, he's doing some, abolish the monarchy of like these three timekeeper heads.
That is correct. But I think there is a nitpick that I have in that part as well. But I'll get into that later when I talk about nitpicks. All right?
In the nitpick part of this podcast.
Nitpick part of this podcast. But the one thing that I liked about just the opening scene was learning about this time variance authority and learning about all these, because they are like, ultra powerful.
Yeah,
with
but
their weapons, with all the stuff they got.
But the best is that it's just a regular office culture from the 90s, early 2000s.
Yeah.
And I think that was the best part.
Yeah. I mean, I will talk about the thing that I don't know why it frustrated me, but it did frustrate me. So it is set, these are ultra powered people, not necessarily ultra powered people, but it's the greatest power in the universe. But it is set out like it's, 1990s office space, right? And there's this dude that Loki comes
Where Michael
across,
Scott at?
Like literally, where's
That's what
Michael
you're
Scott
asking.
at? There's this
That
dude
was
that
your
Loki.
nitpick.
That was my I asked, where's the man that smiles at the camera? The man's from Quiet Place. Where's he? But when Loki catches up with that bloke who he takes things around, he's like the mailman. Well, he's not the mailman.
He was the one you saw at the start who confiscated the items.
That's right. He's the comedic effect individual, right? And Loki says, "If you don't give me this, I'll gut you like a fish." And Mans goes, "What's a fish?"
Yeah, that one I didn't really.
And I understand that that's, it's funny and that's fine and things are allowed to be funny. But I was also like, excuse you, what's a fish? This is the ultimate power in the universe.
I'm sure there's fish coming in that have been somehow escaping the timeline.
Yeah. And
they come in, it's just like this fish and they're going, what's going on here? Oh, bro, it swam the wrong way and now it's in the wrong timeline.
And also, I
Are you guilty or not guilty? Just flopping around.
It just kills itself.
Answer me.
He must have been guilty. He died of guilt.
He died of guilt.
But
He was so upset.
That guy's name is like Chase. He's got just a regular 2021 name. Mans doesn't know about fish. And I know that that's not something to be frustrated about, but I was like, this doesn't work. I understand that it's funny, but it also doesn't work that this character is saying this for comedic effect when it shouldn't exist in that world. But that's not
2 out of 10 review.
That's not something that
episode.
should be focused on too heavily.
No, I want to talk about the fish. So what other things, what other things were in the episode that they went through? Is it only humans that go through this time variance authorities? What's going on here?
Are you
There's
saying,
alien races.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, I'm assuming that there would be some aliens that go through. I don't know if I saw any aliens.
No, I didn't see any aliens, but the timekeepers don't look like humans.
They don't look like humans.
They look human-esque, anthropomorphic and whatnot.
Yeah.
But they don't look, they look alien.
But also if you just saw a blob on the ground, you're going to listen to it? You know what I mean? Not to be a humanist, not to be someone who puts humans first, but if I see something that's got 8 legs sticking out everywhere and it's saying hey, the timeline should be on one specific path, I'd be like, get a Jeff Bezos type in here. I don't want to listen to you. Look at your 7 arms. That's disgusting. And then they'd feel ridiculed. And then I'd be, obviously.
Hey, Chase, this guy's a humanist. The bastard.
And I guess I don't know. Are these people humans? I don't know.
No,
if
they were
are.
created. Well, who knows? But they were created by the time variance. But they could all just be what people see. There's always
that's what I was going to say. Are they just
There's always things like that. When you have a universe that has basically infinite possibilities, you can be whatever. They could all just be blobs.
That's right.
But they put invisible glasses on Loki, and now he's looking at them like they're humans. Who knows?
That's true. And that will be a way that Jeff Feige or whatever the guy's name is.
Kevin Feige.
Why did I say Jeff?
Jeff, because Jeff Bezos.
Jeff Bezos. Give me a Jeff Bezos type. Yeah, no, Kevin Feige, he'll just be like that. If someone asks what's going on with these people, he'll be like, you didn't see the invisible glasses that we
You
put
didn't
on
see him
Loki.
putting on the invisible glasses. He did a small gesture, with his hand. That was him putting on the invisible glasses.
And you just say, that's on you, bro. That's not on me. But
you watched all the videos on, 10 things missed in the first episode of Loki. But that was the 11th thing.
Oh, that actually reminded me of the other thing that frustrated me a little bit.
That's what I tried to do.
Yeah, thank you. The bit, which is hilarious, the DB Cooper bit, right?
That's hilarious. And that was where you did that. You said that was going to happen.
Well, we assumed that was going to happen.
Yeah, did you read that anyway?
No, I had not read that anyway. Because man's look with the glasses on.
DB Cooper.
Yeah.
Database
So,
Cooper.
That scene, he meddles, with Earth at some point. And Thor and Heimdall are involved because it's like pranks. They're doing pranks. It doesn't make sense that when Thor goes to Earth, he's like, what is a coffee? When in Thor 1, when he's like, what is a sliding door? He's like,
what is a fish?
Again, these things don't matter. Like you can make.
Yeah, but he also might not have been to Earth.
Yeah, but if you're meddling with, like, he's looking at that. He's not just like, come back with money so I can laugh.
Yeah, but he's not going.
Who's this guy with a hat?
Loki, go down to the local Chibo and get a barista coffee. All right, he's just put him straight in airplanes.
Yeah, but like give them the wrong name, then that'll be the funny bit, And Loki will be like, I don't understand why we're doing this. Like, why do I have to come in as Seth? Like, I don't get this. It's like, well, I've done that before. I've gone in with the wrong name, like, because my name's hard to pronounce sometimes, and then the person calls out your name, and you're just like, bro, this coffee's taking a while. But yeah, no, that's just the other. But again, these things don't make or break a TV show or a movie. It's just something that I need to work through this myself. Just
that's right. Like, we need to spend 25 minutes of a podcast working through this.
We need to work through this. Let's talk about Owen Wilson's for a bit, because I have a feeling that Owen Wilson's going to take the cake in this show.
He's already probably one of my favorite characters, apart from Loki. Loki's top notch.
Loki's pretty top notch.
He doesn't have a scarf, but still top notch.
Once he gets his scarf, then that's
I'm just excited to see, because I feel like this is. I mean, whenever you have a time, a movie or a media, Marzi or otherwise, that revolves around some sort of time thing happening.
Go on, man. I am listening. I
feel like when I'm in a talk show and like the crowd are just applause and they want to say something, you're going, all right, come on.
Like Jimmy Fallon's laughing and you're like, I know you don't actually genuinely find that funny, bro.
Yeah, that's right. You didn't actually hear what I said. No, you just saw me stop talking and you go, okay, I better laugh now.
Passive listening is the key to success sometimes. Sometimes you just got to keep the show going. But that was funny. Go on with what you were saying.
Yeah, so whenever there's time travel, I feel like there's always going to be, we're going to loop back around. So I think it's going to be Loki is going to gradually become the dude he's going to break up the Time Variance Authority.
I see. So you're thinking
he's going to do something. He's going to infiltrate the dealer.
Yeah.
Whatever, find the supply, infiltrate, whatever he's doing that's exactly from the inside.
Yeah. So, because the reason that Vinny has brought this up for those who are at this point and haven't watched it is there's a scene in which they're in a church in France in like the 1500s or something, right? And this little girl says the devil came in and killed these people. So it's assumed by Owen Wilson that the devil is Loki. It's not genuinely the devil. I mean, it could be, but you see a man with big horns and you're in the 1500s. You're assuming it's the devil, right?
Yeah. That is also interesting. You don't actually see Loki being the bad guy yet.
No.
So you don't know if it's him or if it's, I don't know.
Which I have
just a fish in Loki kit.
Which I have some theories about, which is like hilarious, right? The theories aren't hilarious because they're true, but just, it's hilarious that I have some theories. But no,
it's hilarious that you came up with theories.
I didn't. Yeah,
you of all people.
Me of all people. I didn't think about that, but that's a good point. Is there going to be a scene in which Owen Wilson's and Loki are there and they're like looking at all this stuff going on? Or is there going to be a scene in which Owen Wilson's is like, oh man, Loki, you've played me from the very start. Now I need to like work out how to save you from yourself.
Yeah, like it's a complete loop or something like that. I don't know.
One of my theories is that Owen Wilson's and Loki, they're going to end up being chased by the Time Variance authorities.
I feel like they're going to be teaming up.
Yeah, 100%. They're going to stay together, but they're going to do something, someone's going to die and they're going to be framed for it. They'll kill one of the time gods, the blobs. And they'll have to figure out a way to fix it up.
They'll knock the nose off his statue or something and then they'll just be so upset. That's it. And that's the rest of the TV show, them just running with a huge nose.
And have to loop back to
oh, Wilson, why are you still carrying the nose? I don't know.
They have to loop back and kill themselves before
I missed the perfect pun right there.
I know.
No. I should have said, who knows?
Oh, that's even better.
That's even better because that actually has nose in it.
It has nose in it.
And it makes grammatical sense.
That does.
English.
And like Owen Wilson's like famously has a crooked nose.
So many levels.
So many levels.
All right. How is this not viral, this podcast that we're recording now that won't be going live until Monday?
Well, it's because strictly it's waiting.
It's waiting, that's waiting. Right. The algorithm's ready though.
The algorithm's ready. So can I get into my other theories here?
Go, bro. So, hilarious that you've got theories.
My thoughts. So the scene that is the best scene in this episode is the one where Loki is looking at the his life. This is your life. He's looking at it and he's seeing the key scenes. He's seeing himself in Thor 2,
the highlights,
arguably the best Thor, and he's seen himself where he tells the pale elf or one of the elves that come to attack Asgard to say, he says, hey, go to the right, upstairs, take the first left, Thor's there, stab him in the back, right? And accidentally sends them to his mother, who they end up killing his mother. And that was never Loki's intention. And as much as Loki's always in these movies has always been angry at the world and angry at his father and angry at his brother for what they did to him or what he perceived that they did to him, even though his dad is not a very nice guy, his mother was always that constant support. And he always loved his mother, and that's something that we learn, throughout these movies. So when he sees himself killing his mother, and there's no way that he can stop it, and I think Owen Wilson even says, like, that's it, like, you've done it. The time we can't, like, this is a timeline. This is a single line. We can't change that. Your future is, your past is done, but also your future has already been written for you. And then at the end when he dies, the loop, what's
tape.
It called? The tape finishes off. And I was like, I'm slowing this down because there was like some words, but I think it just said Loki and like had a number there. But my interpretation of this is that because we're heading into like multiverses and things like that, I believe that Loki is going to either go into another multiverse and live out the rest of his life, but change his life and change his path, because that's a nice message that your future is not already written. You can change things. You're not anchored down by your past or your present.
By these three guys that have decided that this is the correct timeline.
That's right. So I think that is one theory.
That's definitely interesting, and I think that has some viability to it.
Yeah,
coming from me, someone who knows nothing about just what happens in movies and TV shows and whatnot. Yeah. But you get a tick of approval from me. If it turns out like that, I'd probably be happy.
Yeah. Now my second theory is that the devil, right? They find out who the devil is in like a couple, like maybe third to last episode. Turns out to be Owen Wilson's, and then you find out that Loki is a Jesus, and then they fight each other. That's not actually my theory.
Loki is our Jesus. That's gonna be next episode, because when this goes viral, everyone's gonna be asking the question on Google. It's gonna be, is Loki a Jesus?
No, but I like, this is not as much a theory, but just something that I think would be cool, and I don't know how it would work. But imagine if the Loki that got killed by Thanos, even though he was a good person at that point, is resurrected in some way and sent into the multiverse or sent into some like time, he breaks the time loop or the time line, and he comes back, and when they see the devil, it's Loki with his helmet on, but he's, how he looked at the end of Infinity War, or at the start of Infinity War, and he was just all blue and like the red eyes, and he's being puppeteered by someone else. Imagine how crazy that would be.
And then that goes into the next bad guy, and it's just a man that's like got strings, and he's literally puppeteering Loki.
And they're like, "Who are you?" He's like, "I am the puppeteer." And it's like, well, that's not that intimidating. Like that's if we're talking jobs, especially like media, like puppeteering is the least level of media.
Muzzy media way above puppeteering.
100%. They're everywhere.
It's just the master hand from Super Smash Brothers.
I was going to say the one that does it.
Yeah.
Yeah, dude. I mean, it's about time that Mario linked into the
and then Super Smash Bros on the new Super Smash Bros, the new Super Smash Bros, because they already done new Super Smash Bros.
Yeah.
It's going to have all the Marvel characters. They're going to have to link it in. And Nintendo and Disney are going to be one. And then all the media it's going to be Disney, Nintendo, Marvel, whatever, and then it's going to be Marzi Media. That's it. That's the two medias.
Dude, how many people are going to find the Marzi Media jokes funny other than you and I?
Yeah, I know. I'm going to have to force those guys to listen to this episode.
But also specifically, like, that's why we do this.
Oh, absolutely. Absolutely. To force other people to listen to it. That's why, yeah. I did have another theory, but I think my best one is the one where the Jesus.
Loki
is the Jesus.
Loki is the Jesus. Owen Wilson is the devil.
Yeah, Master Hand.
Whatnot. Yeah.
No, I like the first one.
I think that's like, there's always a message in. Obviously, we've learnt that in these three, there's always a message.
Yeah.
And I think that would be the best one to write.
I agree.
And then it also links into the fact that he can live out his life in another multiverse or in another universe because of these multi-dimensional timelines that are going to be opened up in future films.
Yeah. The other thing I'm thinking is this seems like a story that has to be contained, self-contained.
Yeah.
Because there's only one timeline. It's always going to be what is going to be, whatever. It seems like something that can be, nothing essentially comes of it.
Yeah.
But if that theory that you said is correct, then it's Loki's development as a character rather than the universe.
It's not a universe-changing experience.
Yeah.
He just gets to live out his life in a different...
That's right. But it also could have some sort of consequences, Silver Surfer could just ride in, be at Bondi Beach. Who knows?
And like he's drowning because he's a tourist. He doesn't realise about the rips.
But then And then you see Bondi Rescue and it's like, what the dude, silver dude in the water?
But then Bondi Rescue, they turn to the camera, they say, excuse me, but let me just remind you that it's not just tourists that get caught into the rips, bro. It's the locals as well because they assume that they can swim.
They assume that they can swim.
You ever been in a rip before, bro?
I actively stay away from the water.
That's like when I was in Queensland and I was at this crocodile like place where they support and breed. They don't just breed crocodiles to just like let them loose in the environment, but they preserve the crocodilian crocodilian community and species and genus,
the community.
Right? So they were talking about who do you think like dies the most via crocodilians, and everyone that was there was like, oh no, tourists, obviously tourists. Like a tourist sees a crocodile, he gets the selfie stick out, he wants to take a photo with it. Next minute, his head's in there. Selfie stick's out, his head's in. Got a good shot though, right? but
hopefully it was on Facebook Live.
That's exactly right. But it's obviously not going to be tourists. It's going to be the Australian people like me and you who drink a couple too many mid-strengths.
Overconfident.
They
also, there are more of them.
They do these to the, like, I've seen this on Crocodile Dundee.
Oh.
Margaret, my hand.
Margaret.
And, the reins were out.
He's got my bloody hand. Daniel, I bloody told you. All right, the selfie sticks are only for the tourists.
Yeah. And, those things happen. I don't know why I brought that up. See you in the NT. I'll see you there. But is there any ideas of what you think is going to happen? I don't even think this could not be like this could be someone else. Obviously.
Yeah, that's right. That's what I was thinking before. I was going, maybe it's not Loki. I'm just excited. I was going to watch this again. I unfortunately didn't make enough time in my week to watch it again. But man, this was wild. I remember I finished this. I was going, bro, that's crazy.
The other cool thing about it was it was a 52-minute episode. It was brisk. I was like, oh man, it was late. And I was like, oh dude, it's late. I want to see how many minutes. I've got 11 minutes left. This is wild. Because it is, not only is it a good setup for what's to come, but it is also an enjoyable and fun episode. And the world itself, it is very like, it looks like that Metropolis movie. That Metropolis, when they say, this is you want to see sci-fi? Watch Metropolis, right? And there's all the flying cars and whatnot. It's very much that, but it is its own unique and fun world.
Yeah, it's definitely an interesting concept of all the time variance. And it's something that's, hasn't been touched on really.
No.
I mean, there was vague stuff with the lady from Doctor Strange talking to Bruce Banner. That was whatever.
Sorcerer Supreme.
Sorcerer Supreme. Yeah, but no, I'm excited for episode 2.
I'm excited for episode 2, but now that you brought up before how you were saying that this seems like it's going to be a contained show, it does make sense that it remains a contained show because, you know, these time variant authorities, it's cool that they exist, but Marvel are obviously they're not going to just like bring everyone into the main stories. All you know, these characters like Mobius, he's not just going to be like, I'm in the Avengers now. I'm doing Avengers thing. You know,
it's going to be Spider-Man, Hawkeye's daughter.
Yeah.
It's going to be Mobius.
It's going to be Mobius.
It's going to be
Tony Hawk because he's the only one that can ride the Mobius strip.
Tony Hawk. Oh, dude, absolutely. That's far out. That's from a few podcasts back. Avengers Endgame, I reckon.
That's exactly right. Yeah.
Absolutely Mobius strip. That's it. That's that. Tony Hawk, Mobius, Spider-Man, because Spider-Man's just the best.
Yeah.
And Hawkeye's daughter.
But anyway, I reckon, Vincent, we let them know that this is 100%.
This is worth it.
This is worth it. Even this one episode is worth.
This was wild.
Getting, you know, the 3-day free trial, whatever they give you, because they
probably
don't give you
less now. That's right, 2.5 minutes. you can watch the first 2.5 minutes of Steamboat Willie, and that's it.
Isn't this what you paid for, guys? Like, honestly, we're giving you bargains here.
Hey, you know, he's smacking the teeth off these pigs, making music.
It's everything you could want, man. It's everything you could want.
Yeah.
But Vincent, tell them where they can find us. Tell them about the Patreon. Tell them about Marzi Media.
Marzi Media, they do marketing. So hit them up if you need marketing.
Tell them where they are.
They don't do marketing for us because we can't afford that.
We also don't need it, bro.
We also,
like, we got emails. We're going to talk about the emails.
Yeah, that's right. We've got a lot of content coming up on the Patreon.
Yeah.
So, yeah, you can catch us on Patreon. We're always doing content there. $2 a month. You can sign up. Just sign up just to say, you know, we're here.
We're here.
I'm here.
And leave. You can leave if you want to.
You know, my pool guru. Bro, you got pool money. Okay?
Dude, he's got pool money,
I'm just connecting dots here.
Yeah.
Anyway, we're also on Twitter that I've got to do more things on Twitter.
That's right. Because you're doing other things on Twitter.
I'm doing too much on Twitter. Anyway, we're on Instagram. Follow us on Instagram. Back Catalogue. The Back Catalogue. Yeah, that's just it.
Catalogue, yeah.
The Back Catalogue.
It's the Back Catalogue everywhere except for Twitter.
Twitter, which is TH Back Catalogue. But everything's in the show notes. We'll have other things in the descriptions. Farewell.